In this tutorial, we will try and demonstrate the fundamental difference between uLaw and, say, other accounting softwares or other practice management softwares. Most practice management softwares expect the lawyer to be, a power user of accounting, while uLaw presents itself a little bit different, and we'll showcase in this tutorial how that is. So let's take first, the bookkeeping guidelines. I'm going to page 18. Where they're showing you how a trust ledger has been created for this client. So this shows Paula Paralegal, a trust ledger for the account Piper Jane, and we're going to try and mimic exactly the same transactions as shown in the bookkeeping guidelines, and we'll show you how uLaw automatically does all the accounting for you, and you don't have to actually do much of bookkeeping. So let's take this example on page 18 of the bookkeeping guide for paralegals. So this is and contact our client by name Jane Piper, and that's the name of the matter, small claim courts. And first there's a retainer for $300, then there's an invoice that has been generated, and then there's another retainer for $125, and then there's a disbursement for $100. And this is what you need to maintain as ledger to have conformance with the law society. Now, let's see how much of bookkeeping you actually need to do in uLaw to actually produce a ledger like that. So in uLaw, we have a matter called small claim court, and you've tagged it under the code small claims. The first thing that you would do is you would enter the retainer. So just click here. So that was $300. Notice that uLaw automatically forces you to put it in trust account. So I'm going to just enter the check number, say 45, and apply. At this time, we are ready to put a few dockets. So I'm going to put in, say, a couple of dockets. So first one, say, initial meeting, then court visit, and then final document preparation. So initial meeting, you may want to charge, say, a 0.5. Then for court visit, let's charge like an hour, and the final document preparation will charge like an hour. So that will be your first invoice that you're going to generate, which is approximately $282.50 with taxes included. So let's go ahead and generate the invoice. Notice that so far you haven't done anything in accounting. All you've done is just worked off your matter. You have entered the time dockets and created the invoice. The invoice will basically summarize all the details that you have. Notice that it tells you that you have $17.50 still in the retainer. Probably a good time to ask for more retainer. So let's go ahead and ask for more retainer. Let's say a check arrived for $125, and you would enter that again here. Click on retainer. Let's say $125. Notice once again it asks you to put in the pool trust account, and this time this check number is 56. Do an apply. Say now you want to charge a disbursement. So you can say notice of garnishment, $100, obviously no tax on it, and you do a save. Now you're ready to generate your second invoice. So now you've generated the second invoice, and uLaw should make sure that all the invoice information is marked properly. Notice that notice of garnishment is there. Now let's start looking at the trust ledger. To go and look at the trust ledger, you would click on the accounts panel, click on document generation, ledger, client trust ledger, and let's go for this particular client, Jane Piper, and just do a download. Notice that I'm going to keep the uLaw ledger and the bookkeeping guide ledger right next to each other, and we're going to do a comparison apple to apple. You see that this ledger for Jane Piper and this ledger for Jane Piper looks pretty much the same. what we have achieved in uLaw is you only worked out of the matter panel. You never did anything on accounting. You never entered any trust ledger. You never entered any journal statements or receipts or payments. uLaw basically pre-computed all the details for you. So that way, what we completely avoid is a practitioner being a power user of accounting. He can just be a simple paralegal or a lawyer who basically does his everyday job in the matter, works his way through retainers, dockets time and dockets disbursements, and uLaw will take care of accounting. So to summarize, this is a matter. We first created a few dockets, we entered a few retainers, and we entered a disbursement, and all we did was we invoiced. And for invoicing, uLaw automatically generated the trust ledgers, and we saw that the trust ledgers were so much in compliance and looked so similar to, in fact, pretty much exact like the way the paralegal bookkeeping guideline or the lawyer bookkeeping guideline suggests the way it should be. So we hope you enjoyed the tutorial with us where we showed you and we eliminated a lawyer being an accountant or a paralegal being an accountant. All we want to do in uLaw is make it very simple for you. As a practitioner, you just work off the matter, and we automatically generate ledgers and journals and everything in compliance with the Law Society's bookkeeping guidelines.